the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can do the roll call.
Roll call.
Sorry. Member Borgia?
Here.
Member Holmes?
Here?
Member Newhoff?
Here.
Member Perkins?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is a motion to approve the agenda. Is this where, if you wanted to add something, okay. I'm not sure where the best place to put it would be, but I just have one discussion item that I wanted to add, and the topic is the library and the Library Advisory Committee items that were mentioned at the September 9th commission meeting. Okay, if that's agreeable to everybody?
Sure. Yes.
So where would,
Discussion items.
okay,
We'll do that as D.
D, okay, so that will be 5D. Okay. So could I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I motion.
I'll second it.
Could we have a roll call?
Member Holmes?
Yes.
Member Newhoff?
Yes.
Member Borgia?
Yes.
Member Perkins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, our next item is action item 4A, which is the election of officers for 2024 to 2025.
I think we have approval of minutes before that, am I right?
Oh, we do, I'm sorry, I
And do we
skipped
have
right
any
over that.
audience comment?
Okay, oh, and yeah, do we have any audience comments? Okay, sorry. Next is number 3, the approval of the minutes from the March 21st, 2024 meeting.
I make a motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Can we have a roll call?
Member Newhoff?
Yes.
Member Borgia?
Yes.
Member Holmes?
Yes.
Member Perkins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we have number 4 action items, election of officers for the 2024-25 year. Is this, if I read it correctly, so this is just for this meeting, and then, because I know that
That it would be, this is a little different because there's only 2 meetings a year.
right,
So if there's no change of, appointments, if the same commissioners stay in place and the same people stay, whoever is the chair or vice chair can continue the following year. So it doesn't have to, change every year, but it would be just for this year and then theoretically again next year.
okay,
Well, I'll make a motion to appoint Jeanette Perkins as the chair.
I would be willing to do it.
Anybody
I'll
else?
second it.
Okay.
That'd be
Can we
great.
have a roll call, please?
Member Borgia?
Yes.
Member Holmes?
Yes.
Member Newhoff?
Yes.
Chair Perkins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And we also need to appoint a committee vice chair for the same term.
Mm.
Who would like to, anyone would like to volunteer?
I can vice chair.
Okay.
So we just need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to appoint Wendy Holmes as vice chair.
A second?
Okay. Member Holmes?
Yes.
Member Newhoff?
Yes.
Member Borgia?
Yes.
Chair Perkins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. On to item 5.
No, there's still a B under there, under action item.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 2025 meeting schedule, I see one, is
Scroll
March
down.
20th,
Yeah.
2025, and I guess it would be also September, whatever the third Tuesday is in September, 18th. Do I have a motion to approve the March 20th, 2025 and September 18th, 2025 meeting schedule?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, could you just tell me one more time the dates again? March
March
20th?
20th
Uh-huh.
and September 18th.
And September 18th. Thank you very much.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Member Newhoff?
Yes.
Member Borgia?
Yes.
Member Holmes?
Yes.
Chair Perkins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, number 5, discussion items. Welcome to new members. And I think the new members are
Shelley Newhoff.
Shelley Newhoff and
That would be Maggie Milton.
Milton,
She
who's
couldn't
not here.
make it today.
And then member Perkins and Borgia are relatively new as well, so we thank all of you, including member Holmes, for volunteering your time for the city. This is from Betsinda, she wrote me a script, by the way. Betsinda would like to thank, and myself, departing members Kennedy and Cohen for their years of service in this capacity, including a special thank you to member Cohen, who has been on the committee for 15 years since March of 2009. So thank you all for service to the community. We appreciate it.
Okay, item 5B, past programs including summer reading.
And I have a little summary, and I'll refer to Alexa if you guys have questions or to expand on it. But from March through August of this year, the library hosted 203 active programs and had close to 3,000 people in attendance. Those programs included musicians, professors, and poets. They also had 47 passive programs, which included take-home crafts, scavenger hunts, reading challenges, and more. I've seen those projects, and Alexa does a great job putting those together, so congrats on that. These programs have engaged people 3,012 times. Past program highlights included the Smithsonian Museum display. I hope you guys were able to see that. That was displayed throughout the library, exploring human origins, in a very robust summer reading program. During the summer reading program, they offered programs featuring a sled dog musher, magicians. Did I read that right? A sled dog musher? Musher? Okay. Magicians, princesses, authors, and birds. As always, they partnered to offer reading with the Rays and promoted over 1,000 books for their before kindergarten program. So, very busy.
That's great.
Do you guys have questions about that? Do you want to expand on any of that or toot your own horn? Okay.
Okay, next we have discussion item 5C, upcoming programs.
So due to some staffing shortage, we're currently looking for a librarian too. Since March, I think, Matthew was in that position. We filled it. That individual has since left the city, but we have been doing interviews to replace that. But because of some staffing shortage, October through December, starting next month, the library is going to be closing 2 hours earlier on Monday and Wednesday. So instead of closing at 8 p.m., they'll be closing at 6. And then we'll start back up with later hours once, we kind of hit season and the snowbirds and the amount of activity kind of increases during that time. But besides just library being open, there's many other library services, ebooks, e-audiobooks, newspapers are available through the website through SPBLibrary.com. We've also talked about lending lockers and some other that's into some other items. It's kind of, we're testing to see what the effects would be with closing a little earlier on those 2 nights a week. It's only 4 hours a week, but sometimes when you take some things away, you might get people that notice. And so we're kind of seeing that, but there's opportunities to see if we have staff shortage, which I think we all did through COVID, is what other things can we do to still have these things available? We do have the the little libraries, like at the community center, they're down in Passagrill and a couple of the neighborhoods. But we're looking at also lockers, or that's what they're called?
Holds lockers to pick up.
To be able to pick up certain items, and you put in a code and be able to get those things, so you don't need a staff there present for the items that you're coming to the library for. So we're kind of in a testing phase with that, so.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the little libraries are part of the St. Pete Beach library system?
So we
Or-
get certified, so you go through, correct me if I'm wrong, because I did it to get it at the community center. You go through the library, there's a national registry. Could you get a number that's assigned to your,
I'm not sure how we're associated with the little free libraries. I don't know if the Friends do it or Betsonda might, but I'm
like,
not sure.
for the community center itself, we ended up paying for it, the city did, out of the rec, and to the actual box. So it's a, kind of like a kit that you purchase online through littlibrary.com maybe. And then they assign you a number. So if you go to that website, it'll tell you where all the little libraries are. And then we use the library to fill up the first couple months, the actual little library boxes with books. And then once you kind of establish, and what I've seen even at the community center is, once people know it's there, then they take the books. So there's a good couple months where we need books. People take them, but they don't necessarily know how that kind of works. Once you're used to being able to go and pick a book out and get on the treadmill, then you sometimes put it back, and then if you read and you didn't take it out of the little library, you bring it there so you don't keep it on your shelves in your house. So I've noticed at the community center, once we got past the first 6 months, and Betsinda just kept an eye on it and would fill it up if we needed it, but then after that, it becomes a second nature to people that are using it, and to bring back books and keep it loaded. So sometimes there's some great books in there. So I know I have always my stack of books, and I wait till I get 4 or 5 of them, and I bring them and I put them in there, and to do them that way. So I don't know how many we have throughout the city. I know there's one by the museum down in Passagrill. There's one by the Warren Webster, one at the community center.
One by the Women's Center.
Yeah. So and I don't know if you've noticed that it pretty much becomes routine for anybody who's using it to take and then put back. So.
Yeah, they're never empty.
Yeah, so it works, but we've used the library to get us like up and moving and help promote it, so.
I have a question too. So the one thing that comes to mind, like the mayor's office, will that be shifted to earlier in the day? Because I know he usually has that at 6 o'clock on the Mondays, or every other Monday, I think.
I think
I don't
it
know
is.
if there's any other recurring evening programs that are affected.
So the mayor's open office, I emailed the mayor and he was okay with moving up the open office to 5 o'clock to 5:45 from October through December.
Is that the only recurring thing that's going to be affected?
That's the only thing, other than some of the programs that we might have done later, we're just bumping up to earlier in the afternoon. So that's the only thing it really affected consistently.
Okay, thank you.
And Lisa, Commissioner Robinson is what day and what time?
It's going to vary through the months, but in October, she will be Monday, October 14th from 5 to 6 p.m. Lisa Robinson.
So opposite of the mayor's days?
Yes,
Okay,
but she's only coming that one day. The mayor's going to be there twice.
okay. Some other upcoming programs, September, this month, that we're more than halfway through, if you can believe it, is Library Card Sign-Up Month, and they started the month with successful sign-up event on September 4th. They had 34 attendees at the suggestion of the member Borgia. They hosted an author showcase with 12 authors affiliated with Novelist Incorporated, whose annual conference was held at Tradewinds, which I think we talked about last
Still
year with
going
this
on,
meeting,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is it going on currently?
right. They just started yesterday.
Okay. They continue to partner with the Suncoast Seabird Sanctuary to inform and entertain us with their rescue birds, and they've welcomed back two popular lecturers, David Bush and Elizabeth Britt. The library continues to have craft and game programs to combat loneliness, along with their donut happy hour each month, which I believe the sheriff's office, the CPOs still come, Alexa?
They do when they're available.
Okay. So we have our community police officers join when that happens, so not that police officers are associated with donuts.
None of us were thinking that.
The library is a ballot drop-off location during elections. They partner with the supervisor election for voter registration events. October's always a fun program month, and we will have scary movies, a blood drive, a lecture about witches, pumpkin decorating, and as part of the Friends of the Library annual meeting, there will be bats in the library. What does that mean?
Live bats?
Live bats. There's going to be a lecture on the myths about bats and the realities of bats by the Florida Bat Conservancy. So they will have live bats.
In a cage?
Usually they come in a cage, but they'll take them out.
Jennifer won't be there.
Denver's like, I'm not attending.
They're actually unique. I was in Austin, you know how they have, I was there the time of year whenever they do their, at Sunset Fly, where there's thousands of them.
Tens of thousands come
Yeah.
out from under this bridge.
Yeah.
It's
Take
pretty,
off.
it's a unique thing, but when you look at, they're just little rats with wings. I'm sure they're very cute.
But they eat bugs. They
They do good things. Yes. So do snakes and some other reptiles, but, well, that's good. They'll eat whatever's in the library. That's not good.
We have them on the beach, like in the beach garden.
Yeah.
You'll see them flying around
Yeah.
sometimes at night. So you'll never be back in the beach garden at night, will you?
Oh, that's interesting. What day is that?
That is October 24th. It's a Thursday. The Friends meetings start around 2:30, and the bat presentation will be around 4:30.
Side note to that, we're doing, we'll have to talk about this, but there's a trick or treat on Corey Avenue on that same night. It'd be cool to partner and have people go see bats and then trick or treat.
Mm-hmm.
Because the trick or treating starts at 5.
Okay.
And then I thought about the library having a table on Corey. But that's a side note.
We can talk.
But that would be cool,
That would be neat.
right?
Definitely.
We could bat theme the whole thing. I'm getting excited now.
You'd have a theme song playing to that.
Yeah.
Batman could come.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shine will be back to offer Medicare information and counseling. In November, will begin their winter reading program, which is geared towards adults than children. It is very popular last year, and they hope to replicate that engagement. We'll start with a local author showcase. All these programs are created by Alexa, who is a rock star, and she always helps promote, set up, take down, and gather statistics. Also, speaking of our rock star, Alexa, did you not just get honored by an award?
I did.
James Patterson?
Yes, James Patterson gave 250 bonuses to ALA accredited librarians and library staff members, and I was selected to receive a James Patterson bonus.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Isn't that great?
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's great. Yes.
Out of how many that applied? Betsinda
I'm
mentioned
not
it.
sure how many applied, but 250 people won it
Nationwide.
nationwide.
See, we've got a little gem right here.
Yes.
Congrats. Well deserved.
Very nice.
Maybe we can have Jane Patterson come and be the author.
Oh, that would be great.
I don't think that Cinda wants to pay James Patterson what James Patterson.
I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's what I have for upcoming programs, unless, Alexa, do you have anything else to add that's in the didn't script for me?
I did meet with AARP yesterday, and in November we will resume safe driver courses, which I think were popular in the past. And we've also continued our partnership with Creative Play, which is a program out of St. Petersburg, where we partner with individuals who are artists with intellectual disabilities. They come out to the library and we create art together. And so that's been really successful too. I think that's it.
Thank you both for the updates. The next item is the one I added, 5D. I'm mainly bringing these up for information for the committee. I don't normally go to commission meetings, but I always watch them within a few days. And Jennifer, please correct me if I misspeak on any of the other things
Sure.
I'm going to say. At the September 9th meeting, the library and the library advisory committee in particular were mentioned, which was kind of shocking to me because I never hear the library mentioned at the commission meetings unless it's someone getting an accolade for the great job they do. But during the discussion on the millage rate, one of the commissioners proposed reducing it, and the mayor said in order to do that, we would need to come up with a $400,000 cut in the budget. And the first item that the commissioner who proposed this brought up was the freebie, who has, I think, a $700,000 budget. And the second item that he brought up was the library. So I just wanted to make you all aware that I know we don't do the budget. I think probably the director and, the other departments, but that was mentioned, as a possible place that this commissioner was looking to make cuts. So I just wanted to bring that up. I hope.
Well, I will just say that out of all the departments, the library's budget is the smallest. So a $400,000 cut is cutting off limbs.
It's half.
So to me, it's not the place necessarily to target. I think it's a little bit from everywhere. But
I just wanted to mention
there's not a
that
lot
was-
of extra meat in the library's budget.
Yeah, I looked at it,
But
and
no.
yeah, and I've been in the library. And I've been to many of your programs, and there's not like a lot of extra, like over the top. It's what's needed to perform,
Right.
the program or the function or whatever. So, but I just wanted everybody to be aware of one person mentioning, targeting the library possibly.
I think what people don't understand is the Friends of the Library and their contribution to a lot of the programs and the program supplies, and like the ice cream social that was last month. They bought all the ice cream. They're the ones that manned it, so it wasn't staff that had to be there. So a lot of the extra things that are happening in the library are funded, in the new, I don't want to call it a light bright, what's it called?
Everbright.
Yeah.
Bright. That was all raised money. It wasn't
Right.
coming out of city funding. So I don't know if there's a misconception out there.
I think there is.
Maybe we need to do a better, job of letting people know that the library really is a hodgepodge of different funds, with the Friends anyways. So I don't know if there's a misconception out there, but just knowing that I did a few departments' budgets this year, the library has, I don't even know where I would cut even a couple $100.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me to the second time it was mentioned, and this, what they are proposing, the commission, is to have a future workshop and look at each of the boards and committees and how often they meet and their responsibilities and their interaction with the commission, and see if there need to be any changes made. And one of the commissioners said, mentioned the Library Advisory Committee if it was needed, and she wasn't quite sure of how we interact with the Friends of the Library, or if there's a conflict of interest between the two. So I think at some point, I don't know if the director or someone from us may be called to say something at a commission workshop about the advisory committee going forward and the value to the library.
Yes, they mentioned something about it being a conflict of interest if you were on the
Right.
advisory committee
Yes.
and Friends of Libraries. I was like, I don't.
Also,
I
if you have a
didn't see that.
spouse that works at the library, it's a conflict also.
To be on this committee.
Mhm.
My suggestion would be that whomever appointed you, whichever commissioner or mayor appointed you, to have that discussion and just tell them how important you think this committee is and what it serves and how it differs from the Friends. Because I think the Friends is more of programming support, and you guys are more in like policies or changes and things that should come to you all, where the Friends is more on the support end, on events or programming, more on the programming side, I would say. And I think the role for you all is the education of the library, what the library serves in this community, and how we promote that, and if there's policies that need to change or things. And this was a very integral committee when we were fundraising
Yeah.
10 years ago to get a new library. I mean, this was years of trying to push and advocate that the library that was existing we needed a new one. And it was going to move locations. It was going to be, City Hall was going to become the library at one point. The old police station was going to be looked at. So that's the kind of thing that this committee needs to be doing. The Friends of the Library can be that donor support in trying to achieve what it is you guys set. And that's how I see it. But I think you each should probably talk to whoever appointed you and express where you think the value is, and that the two should not merge. And that's probably said too much, but I think I see them as two separate things. And I don't
Yeah.
know what your guys' thoughts are.
Well, and Friends of the Library has a yearly dues, which, this is more of a
Volunteer.
voluntary committee, like independent of the library and the Friends, and yeah, I see them as different. So you would suggest just
Making sure they know that, and then if you want them to bring it up at a commission meeting,
I just wanted everybody to be aware that they were going to look at, I think that was the intent in the future, to look at all
all boards.
the boards and committees and do any adjustments that they needed. So we should be prepared to our value. And, I think a good start is to email each of the people who appointed us and let them know our feelings.
Yeah, and refer them to watch this meeting even as well. I mean, I think it took Betsinda by surprise too, that was mentioned. So,
Yeah, I was surprised. That's why I just thought I'd bring it up, because some of the meetings, as Jennifer knows, are very long, and it's hard for people to attend them or even watch them at a later time. But I usually try to doing whatever, sweeping the floor or whatever, and
Yeah.
put it on my computer and listen. And sometimes you hear something
Yeah,
you weren't expecting.
Mhm.
So anyway.
well, I'll tell you one other, I think a crucial thing. So the Parks and Rec Board meets twice a year as well, so they're very similar. But where also the differences of the Friends of the Library and this board is, if the city was to write a grant for something, let's say for the Eventbrite, what's it called? Let's say Everbright. I almost got it that time. And let's say we were going to write a grant to get that. A lot of times grants, you have to do it in a public meeting. The Friends they do not have public meetings. So where I use our Parks and Rec Board is to talk about the things that I may be asking for things later, or let's say I feel like we need to budget an extra $10,000 in our budget for digital initiatives or something along those lines, or the lockers, and then you as a committee have that recommendation for commission, so when it goes to budget. So that's, to me, the difference is this is going to guide and is a recommendation to your commission as they make decisions, whether it's by budget or if there's a grant, and so then we do the minutes, and the minutes get put into the grant application. So that's where both the library advisory and I think the Parks and Rec Board serve this community to be able to have that connection to city staff and to your decision makers that are serving on the commission.
I think it's also important to note, I don't know if anyone knows what's going on in Pasco County right now in their libraries and freedom to read and book suppression, but that's another reason it's important to have you guys as the library advisory board, because I don't want to go too much into what's going on in Pasco, but you can look it up and see why library advisory boards are so important to libraries.
Do you think that because we only meet twice a year, it's viewed as, not as important? And I know it just went from 3 or 4 to 2.
Yeah.
I don't know the reason, but do you think that because we only meet every 6 months, and they might feel like it's less?
I don't want to speak for anybody else, but it depends on how you manage the agenda and what it is, the items that you talk about, and forecasting. So if you're able to do that, I don't see it as that it's an invaluable board, but it does take more foresight to plan ahead. I believe, Ginny, when did that change? A few years ago, when they went from 4 to 2?
I think maybe 2.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it an issue, and I haven't seen it, I think Parks and Rec did it, I think, at the same time whenever they changed that. And I don't think it's been, you might just talk about more things than you would if you met 4 times a year in 2 meetings. But I guess I don't view it that way, but I don't know what others view it as.
Okay. Is there anything anyone else would like to say? No. Okay, if there's nothing further, then we are adjourned. Kaboom.
Very nicely done.